Hello, listener on Peace FM 90.5. It is Thursday, the 5th day of February 2026, and this is Good Morning Plateau. And of course, it is a beautiful morning and my opportunity to welcome you to Good Morning Plateau on Peace 90.5 FM. We do this every weekday from Monday down to Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. with a break at 9:30 a.m. for you, the listener, to contribute and ask questions of our guests on the program Good Morning Plateau. And today is no different, as this program is designed to wake you up to issues, ideas, and opportunities shaping our state and our future. And I am Munkawe London Wadak, and for the next 1 hour, we turn our focus to a sector that feeds our homes, sustains our economy, and defines the identity of Plateau State, and that is agriculture. But beyond planting and harvesting, a critical question remains. How do farmers move their produce from the farm to the market, and from the market to the road to prosperity? Now, across many rural communities, poor roads access, high transportation costs, and limited market linkages have long reduced farmers' profits and discouraged large-scale production. However, a major intervention is underway. The Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, known as RAAMP, designed to improve rural roads, connect farmers to markets, and unlock enormous agricultural potential of the states such as Plateau. And today we'll be asking, how exactly is RAAMP transforming rural access, and what does it mean for farmers, traders, and the wider economy of Plateau State? Now, having joined us in the studio is a man that you can say is at the center of this transformation. Engineer Daniel Tensen is Plateau State Project Coordinator of Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project RAAMP. He is overseeing key interventions aimed at improving rural infrastructure and strengthening agricultural value chains across the state. It is my honor to say, Engineer Tensen, you are welcome to Good Morning Plateau.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to the peace-loving people of Plateau State.
All right, so having taken the pleasantries out of the way, Engineer Tensen, for the benefit of our listeners, maybe they might just be hearing this for the first time. So what exactly is RAAMP, and what problem, because I assume you being an engineer at the helm of affairs there, of course engineers solve problems. So what problem is RAAMP designed to solve in rural communities?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll give you a brief of how the project started, so that from there we can now key into the problems that the project is solving. This project started as a rural access and mobility project with 2 states involved. That was in the early 2000s. We started with Kaduna for the north and Cross River for the south. Because of the success stories of the first RAAMP, which had 1A, and they called it RAAMP 1. Then it grew into 5 states, and it was called RAAMP 2. But at that time, it was still Rural Access and Mobility Project. Now, also because of the success stories of that RAAMP 2, the bank thought it wise that we should include an agricultural aspect to it, which gave rise to the RAAMP with 2 A's, Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project. The project has triple funding: the Plateau State Government, the World Bank, and the French Development Agency. What we aim to do is to create roads and link them to markets, as you rightly pointed out, for prosperity of the people of Plateau State. Now, the initial RAAMP, which is the Rural Access and Mobility Project, focused only on roads, did not give attention to the market aspect of it. Now, what we do is we create roads, then link them up to markets, which was part of what we considered during the prioritization of the roads we are constructing now. In Plateau State now, we are constructing 331 kilometers of roads. We are also constructing 45 meter cross drainages, which the Dawaki Bridge is part of it. We're constructing culverts in Chanso and in Lankaku Road. So apart from that, we are constructing or rehabilitating 3 markets. One in the northern part of Plateau, Jingir Market. One in the central part, that's the Mangu Market. Then in the southern part, Shandam Market. Now, just like you said, our aim is for the farmers. The whole drive of RAAMP is to be able to assist the farmer to be able to move his produce from the farm to the market.
Sorry, let me just cut in there.
Yes.
Now, how does, providing rural access directly, how does that affect the farmers' incomes and food supply in Plateau State? I want you to make it as simplified as possible so that we can carry as many people along, because most times people hear about government projects like that and it seems like it's something far removed from them. It doesn't really affect them directly. So talk to us about how that access will directly affect the income of these farmers, especially as most times the middlemen take off everything and farmers are just left to bear the losses, as it were.
Yes. So for the farmer in the farm, how will directly affect his income or increase his income is this. Now, with bad roads, the middlemen take advantage, just like you rightly said. They use the advantage of bad roads and exploit the farmer. Because the farmer doesn't have access, he knows, he calculates and say, okay, the stress of passing through that bad road, taking it to a nearby market, he would rather give it at whatever the price that the middleman is offering. But with access now, with the RAAMP project and with access for the farmer, he has that leverage now. If the buyer comes or the middleman comes, he knows that with a good road, it's just maybe a road that before the intervention took him 3 hours. With good intervention, that 3 hours can be reduced to as low as an hour trip. So he can say, okay, instead of giving it at giveaway, let me just go straight to the market and sell it myself if the price that the middleman is offering is not convenient for him. Then, apart from that, there are so many interventions that come to the farmer because of a good road. Recently, we partook in a workshop organized by the Agricultural Development Program, Plateau Agricultural Development Program, PADP. But it was for all the ADPs in the North Central. One of the things that was focused on is extension services to farmers. And one of the key challenges that was highlighted in that workshop was mobility, access for the farmer. Now, without access, we won't be able to get those extension services. For example, the extension services can cut across even weather predictions. Just like the rain that fell in January, advice could be given to a farmer who would want to think that he can start planting. Forecast can be given to him. Apart from that, services, training, the seedlings, improved seedlings, access to improved seedlings, which the extension services can render to the farmer. Without good access, it will be difficult. And so, with good access now, they will be able to have a leverage in terms of the price they sell the good. Then also services that can come and information that can come to them directly to where they are located. In addition, we talk about post-harvest losses. Now, for perishable goods, if the farmer harvests and probably he doesn't have a middleman to offtake. That bad road can make that produce more vulnerable in terms of perishing. And one thing we are keen into now in the agro-logistics centers is for us to look at the value chain within those areas and provide suitable storage facilities so that if the farmer with good road now, he can access the market, store his perishable good, which will extend the life, and come back to maybe the next market day if the market, most of the markets that we are intervening actually are weekly markets. So he can, for example, in Jingir, their market day is Sunday. He can come back next Sunday and sell at a better price. Then also exposure. The farmer will be exposed to other farmers in the market through that linkage. For example, now a lot of farmers do make the mistake because they don't calculate the in terms of monetary value. They don't calculate the effort put in cultivating the farm, especially those who are into manual farming. Those into mechanized farming might most likely put into consideration that price, the cost of that mechanization. But for the peasant farmer who does manual labor, they don't usually factor in that cost of that manual labor. So they end up giving it at giveaway. But if you are exposed to the market, you'll be able to be exposed to other farmers who have that information, and you'll be able to tell, okay, this is the price that is being sold, so that you don't undersell your products. And at that time again, they can also form cooperative, which we encourage, so that they can have that leverage to be able to increase their income.
Indeed, the benefits of networking for a farmer are enormous, and we can go on and on and on to list them. Well, just at this point now, I would like to ask this question. Now, it is common knowledge, or I assume it is, that depending on rain-fed or seasonal farming seasons, when there are rains and when there are no rains, determining when certain produce are actually produced and are available, has become globally obsolete. It's no longer an idea that catches on with most nations and most agrarian economies. Now they have fashioned ways through which they could produce staples all year round.
Yes.
Now, I ask the simple question, for Plateau, how soon do we get there? How soon do we hope to be in a position where I can have potatoes to make my chips at any point in time that I want them? I don't have to wait till a certain season when they are ready and they're cheaper in the market and all of that. And things like corn that we love to roast a lot of. When do we get to see a time when on the Plateau we don't have to wait for seasons to have fresh corn, seeing as the benefits are quite enormous? Please talk to us along those lines. And then, of course, share some examples of communities where, roots had some kind of direct impact, and the impact is already being felt by those there.
Okay. As we all know, the mantra of His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang is that the land is green, meaning that is to highlight the potential of Plateau State as an agricultural state. I also like to highlight the fact that the project, like I earlier mentioned, is sponsored by Plateau State government, the World Bank, and the French Development Agency. But without the timely contribution of counterpart funding from His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, we wouldn't have been able to make such progress that we have made. Like I said, we're constructing 331 kilometers of roads. And if you look at in terms of commitment of governors, we are at the moment 19 participating states. In terms of commitment of government to counterpart funds, we come second in terms of timely provision of counterpart funds, and that's why we have been making this progress. So all kudos to His Excellency for this massive progress that we have made. Now, back to your question. This key, you're pointing towards irrigation. Now, the farmer is usually encouraged by profit. If he farms and is able to sell at a good price, he will be able to farm more, both in the wet season and dry season. Now, with access now, we're talking about access to markets, better, lower transport costs. So usually a road that will take you maybe 2,000 from point A to point B might take you maybe 500 or 1,000 to that same point. That cost of transportation has been reduced, meaning that the profit margin to the farmer has increased. Now, if a farmer, for example, made 200,000 naira in profit this year, and assuming that farmer only farms in wet season, won't you think that with good access now that has improved his income, won't he think of irrigation farming? Definitely yes, he will think of that, and that will be the drive that will encourage a lot of our farmers to be able to both plant in dry and wet season.
All right, now, so let's, shift the gaze from, of course, we've spoken at length about roads, the role that RAAMP is playing in connecting these communities. Can we also, shift our focus to agricultural marketing and value chains? Because, of course, the value chains in agriculture are usually, they're like a driving force in the MSMEs sectors, and those are the building blocks of every nation. Now, what practical support is being provided for farmers, traders, and cooperatives? If you've mentioned some of these things earlier, please expatiate some more. Let's talk about how agricultural marketing and value chains are being supported by the activities of RAAMP.
Okay, so initially you asked the question for us to connect with Plateau people, where we are actually intervening. For example, in Dawaki, one of the cross-drainage structures, which is a bridge, is where we are intervening. The community in Lankang, before our intervention, they had enormous challenge in moving their produce from Lankang going towards Pangshin axis. But with even as now, that road is about 70% completed. Now already there is significant improvement in terms of transportation. The condition of the road now is better. And so many communities such as the communities in Lankaku, communities in Gimi, in Basa, communities in Chakfem, in Mangu, communities in Murish, communities in Vodni, communities in Nemel, all have been beneficiaries of the interventions. Even in Shandam, communities like Dulori have access now, better access, in as much as we are still an ongoing project. But even with the improvement that these communities have seen now, they are all praises to His Excellency and to the project for these interventions that we are doing. Now, to the cooperatives. The project is mainly focused on, like I said, rural access, then markets. Now, for the cooperatives, all we do is to encourage farmers to form cooperatives. Now, these markets that we are rehabilitating, we have set up a market management framework so that after our intervention, we would have is a management framework that would sustain the markets. Now, we have also collected data on cooperatives existing, market cooperatives existing within the market. So what we do now is to give that data to the management, which will be managed by the local government after the intervention. And so that is where the drive is. We as a project don't go into soft loans at the moment for farmers. We are mostly concentrating on rehabilitating the roads, then the markets. Thank you.
All right then. So, pardon me to still probe further. Now, how are smallholder farmers, especially women and youth, being integrated in some of the benefits of what you do then? If you could just shed a little bit of light on that aspect before we move on the program.
Okay. So these roads, markets, and bridges that we are constructing, we don't do it in a direct labor approach. We engage contractors. Now, the contractors, some of them are local, some are from outside the state, and they cannot come with all the staff from outside, for example. So they will definitely have to engage local content. The youths are engaged now as we are speaking in the construction works, especially on skilled labor, masons, laborers. Most of them are taken from within the community, and a lot of those people who are engaged comprises of youths and women. For children, we don't encourage underage labor, so we for the labor workforce we don't engage children. But for women and youths, a lot of women and youths have been engaged through our interventions.
All right, so let's move now to infrastructure projects. Now, we know that these often raise concerns, right? Considering the fact that they're capital intensive and, of course, labor intensive. And these concerns might also be in areas of sustainability and maintenance, especially when government provides, an infrastructural intervention. And then, of course, the community has to, of course, being the host, look into sustaining and maintaining. Now, what systems are being put in place to ensure that these rural roads and market structures remain functional long after the construction, of course? And then share with us timelines, if there are timelines. Probably you talk to us about, for example, a farmer's market located in such and such community is supposed to serve, the structures are supposed to last this long and so on. Just an example, if you would allow.
Okay, so now, thank you very much for that question. The project has structured a sustainability approach to the interventions. His Excellency has graciously signed the bill establishing what we call the Rural Access Road Agency, RARA, and the State Road Fund. As I initially mentioned, we have the market management framework for the markets that after the intervention, they will be responsible for the maintenance and operation of the markets. For the roads are usually designed to last within 15 to 20 years. Now, within that time, that's with minimal maintenance cost. Now, within that time, 15 to 20 years, the roads will definitely not last forever. There will be time that they will start deteriorating. Now, the Rural Access Road Agency is meant to maintain both the roads that RAAMP are constructing and the existing rural roads as well. their mandate also expands to even rehabilitating poor roads. I'm speaking to you now, a director general has been appointed for both the Rural Access Road Agency and there is a State Road Fund. Now, the State Road Fund is designed for sustainable funding of both the Rural Access Road Agency and even the Direct Labor Aid Agency. That's the Plateau State Road Maintenance Agency. Now, that's the sustainability plan that we have for the project, and God's willing, would be in good shape.
All right, now providing accessibility and visibility, which is in a nutshell what your agency, one aspect of what your agency does, might do a lot of things for community and of course for smallholder and large stakeholder farmers. But then of course, how can local communities take ownership of these projects to protect and sustain them, seeing as these projects are sited in communities and however beautiful these projects are and however these opportunities for access and visibility are, the advantages that they present to that community are, without the buy-in of the people for which those things have been provided, your mandate would just stop short of being fulfilled. Now, how can local communities take ownership of these projects to protect them and sustain them? Practical examples, because we're talking to these communities as we speak.
Okay, so in terms of ownership, we've carried out a lot of sensitization. We've carried out sensitization in all the intervention areas that we have in Pushit, all cut across all the state. Now, during the sensitization, one of the things we achieved was to set out grievance redress committee headed by the traditional ruler of each community. Now, during construction, they give us feedback of what the community feels about our project. That in itself would help them know that this is their project. Another thing is this project is a loan. And so we always tell the community that this is a loan and it will be paid back. And so their monies are involved. And so they have the civil responsibility to make sure that, for example, things are not done to destroy these roads. We also preach every time that these roads are for Plateau State, and therefore each and every citizen or beneficiary has the duty to own that road or intervention.
All right, I see we still have a minute, so real quick, could you talk to us about how you come about choosing which projects to cite and where? Is there usually like a needs assessment, or some kind of engagement that you have with the communities that, informs what project to cite and where?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. We engaged a consultant who carried out a prioritization study. Now, like I said, what we do is construct roads, link them to markets. And therefore, we had a lot of criteria that we used in selecting the roads. Each of the criteria had its own weighting. For example, in as much as we are targeting the farmers, there are other benefits that come with improved access. For example, better health care. So as part of the criteria, we mapped out the number of healthcare facilities along the road corridor, the number of maybe mini markets along the road corridor was part of the criteria, the number of educational facilities along the road corridor was part of the criteria. linkage to the markets that we're constructing was part of the criteria. Initially, in our database, we had about 2,506 kilometers of routes. But the funds cannot construct this amount of routes. So we had to do a prioritization study, mark each route, give it its weighting, and now we arrived at those ones, which is the 331 kilometers that we are constructing now.
All right, dear engineer, it is time that we went on that break. Please, listener, take a breather and, of course, digest what we've said so far. And when we return, it will be time for you to contribute, as we will be opening the phone line and, of course, taking your comments on our Facebook page. So please do well to access these opportunities. Don't go away. All right, welcome back to Good Morning Plateau on Peace 90.5 FM, the episode for Thursday, the 5th day of February 2026. And I am Munkawe London Wadak, and today we've been discussing connecting Plateau farmers or markets, and of course how RAAMP is transforming rural access and unlocking agricultural potentials. And still with me discussing that is Engineer Daniel Tensen, the Plateau State Project Coordinator of RAAMP. Now, we have hit the call-in segment, and it is now time to hear from you, the listener. But before you call, here are some ground rules or rules for engagement. Now, we need you to tell us your name and where you're calling from. Keep your comments brief and respectful, no abusive or defamatory language, and please make your contribution as succinct as possible. Now, the phone line is open, and if you're a farmer, a trader, a transporter, or community member, we would really want to hear from you. Has road access affected your farming or business, and what changes would you like to see in your area? Right, and the number to dial is 0812 588 6048. That number again is 0812 588 6048. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're on to Good Morning Plateau, the episode for Thursday, 5th February 2026. May we know your name and where you're receiving us from?
Krankef Kadum, calling you from Bushit, aka Majority Leader.
All right, Majority Leader, the floor is yours.
I want to appreciate our guest this morning for this great enlightenment. Work is going on Marabam Pushit to generate to Takas. We want to appreciate the effort of government. Vodni, work is going on. Nil to Lankang, work is going on. We want to appreciate the effort of government. But issue of farmers, we want to appreciate your effort because we can get easy road to carry our properties to make it. But then we cannot afford to buy fertilizer this time. Issue of we are farming maize, Irish potatoes, and then so on and so forth. But then we cannot afford to buy fertilizer. Issue of maize, only barandas decide the price of the maize. We need government to provide marketers to us, because we cannot afford to buy fertilizer. Issue of fertilizers, they have very good marketers there. They have unions there. But issue of maize, we don't have unions at all. Only barandas can decide it. They can buy the maize 15,000, 14,000. So we need government to support us. So I want to appreciate the effort of our day this morning. I love this show. Keep it up.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader, for calling in there from Pushit. Your comments have been noted, and the guest will have an opportunity to respond after we have collected a few more. Right, the phone line is free now, and you can dial 0812 588 6048 and ask questions that are relevant to the topic of the day, which of course is revolving around, what they do there at RAAMP, connecting Plateau farmers to markets, how RAAMP is transforming rural access and unlocking agricultural potentials. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my son.
Good morning, sir.
Speaking to Honorable Team, they call me the ultimate from Barkinladi.
All right, the ultimate is always a pleasure. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure being with you, Engineer. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, RAM is really doing the necessary needful. All that I'm praying for is more funding, because you have so much to attend to, but little that is coming your way to be able to do the needful. It is my request, not only on government, but other non-governmental organizations that are so blessed, especially multi-billion naira companies or multi-million naira companies, to also have a support for these road projects, because they seem to be the major beneficiaries of these roads. The road cannot only be for a farmer, it's for every person, and it cannot only be for Plateau people. It is only resided in Plateau, but you see the multiplier benefit of making a road is multidimensional and too much to be analyzed on this topic. Now, what I want to advise is attitudinal disposition of our people. The way and manner we use the roads matters. The way and manner we maintain them matters. There are simple things that we must not depend on your organization to do for us, like little potholes or this, where there are luggages or waterlogs. People can use community development to maintain it before it goes outrageous and out of control and even make the project ineffective. I just pray that God will keep opening more ways for you, and then you continue to channel your resources adequately towards doing the right thing. God bless us.
Many thanks, Ultimate, for calling in there from Barkinladi, and indeed, we cannot overemphasize the importance of, citizens of the communities where these projects will be sited, especially these roads. We cannot overemphasize the importance of their buy-in in maintaining and handling these roads so that they can extend, the shelf life of these roads and really enjoy the benefits. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, you're on to Good Morning Plateau on Peace 90.5 FM. May we know your name and where you're calling us from?
Mr. Munkiwe, thank you very much. It's Mr. Chris Daniel Tat calling from Panshi.
All right, Chris, you're welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Thank you so much. In respect to what you're discussing, you talk about the value addition in respect to Irish, and now there are other issues that came up from what I heard from you, though I came late, but I actually got some one or two things. Plateau, in respect to weather, is very conducive for any forms of agriculture. And if we queue into it, and I want to believe that I want to strongly advise in respect to government, that government of the day, in as much as we appreciate they are putting effort in respect of agriculture, because predominantly we are no longer civil service state, as some people will make mention of. I want to discourage that. We are now going agrarian and also business-wise. And I think if we look at it from that direction, it will help us a lot. We thank God for our governor. We thank God for the NGOs. We thank God for as many, but my major concern here is, Mr. Munkwe, is for us to enjoy this weather and also the gift of nature. We should be able to sensitize those people at the grassroots, particularly the farmers. They need to be given directions. In respect to the issue of fertilizer, the input is at a high cost. And you look at the product, the produce that is coming out from the rural areas, it's nothing to write home about in respect to the issue of price. Farmers are suffering. When you are discussing this, it baffles my mind, and I want to talk about it critically that something needs to be done in respect to the issue of input, even the price of agricultural produce. We need to look at it so that farmers will not be at a loss. And I think if we do that, the better. And then secondly, I want to look at it in respect to infrastructure. We thank government for opening rural areas. And I think let that go on so that those infrastructure will be well put in place, and feeder roads will also help. And if we do that, we'll get it right. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Good morning, Plateau.
Many thanks, Chris Daniel Tat, for that contribution.
Thank you
Indeed,
so much.
anything that will be, anything that will be for the benefit, any effort from the government that uplifts knowledge and status of citizens, of course, should be something that we should applaud and should key into. It should be an all-inclusive thing. Right, let's take one more call and then we'll allow our guest to respond to the calls. Hello, good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine too.
All right. Now, may we know who is calling and where from?
I'm Peace Ambassador Caleb Lamerle from Boys Secondary School, Gilgit.
All right, Peace Ambassador, welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Yes, this issue of road is a live wire. It connected a lot of things. It connected the rural area and the urban area. And the farmers will be able to carry what they have produced in their various villages to the market. So it also connected this issue of medical setup. You discover that the mobility of the medical drugs and other things will come easier to the rural areas. And besides that one, you discover that it brings improvement in agricultural setup. And the extension officers will also have ability to move to the rural area and indicate these rural farmers how to improve on the farm areas. So I would like to say that the government should work more on the rural areas operation, rural development, add more grace. May God give them wisdom to construct more and more to the rural areas to be linked. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Caleb Lamerle, for pointing that out. Indeed, there is no gainsaying how important it is, or rather the role that better road networks, actually play in improving communication and interchange between communities, whether urban-rural or rural-rural or urban-urban, either way. Right, let's take one more call since we still have a little bit more time, and then we'll have the response from our guest. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Rural roads.
Hello, good morning. Could we know your name and where you're calling from?
Lukden is calling from Pangshin.
All right, Lukden, you're welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. What is happening to Diffree? Diffree was, and I don't know whether it is on or not, but what is happening to Diffree? The issue of rural roads, to me, is the one that is opening the rural people to wealth. It is the one that is supposed to stop. Not even the type of crops that they are going to be encouraged. If they can farm, take it without the interference of the middlemen, like the last speaker has said. It's not only farmers. It's not only for the every activity that involves movement needs roads from our rural areas to urban centers. So emphasis on roads, to me, I think is very, very critical. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lukdan, thank you for calling in and sharing your thoughts. Indeed, it will be interesting to know what happened to that very old agency of government. And of course, rural roads, as you rightly pointed out, are pathways to wealth, independence, and the continuity of these communities. So we shouldn't joke with, opening up these rural communities and, of course, making it possible for them to have a network that, serves them and improves their economy. So please, to these 5 calls. Could you respond to their concerns and, of course, their questions?
Okay, so thank you very much. Let me start from the last speaker regarding DFRI. Most intervention projects have a start date and an end date. Now, as a project, I talked about the sustainability plan of the project, talking about the Rural Access Road Agency and the State Road Fund. As projects go on, lessons are being learned. DFRI constructed a lot of rural roads, but unfortunately, the sustainability part of it was not put properly into consideration. But for us at RAAMP, that is why the drive towards an agency whereby when RAAMP phase off, the Rural Access Road Agency will be able to maintain those roads when the serviceable life is approaching the end of those roads. The agency can come and either maintain them or even rehabilitate them. With the issue of fertilizer, like I rightly mentioned, what we focus on is construction of roads linking them to markets. We are not in the best position to speak about access of farmers to fertilizer. But what I'm sure of is that His Excellency is very, very concerned about the plight of all farmers, whether it be road or it be fertilizer. And I'm sure that he will take the necessary steps to address most of the challenges that our farmers have. I appreciate the Mr. Caleb, the Peace Ambassador, for highlighting that these roads don't only benefit the farmers. Even companies benefit, other citizens benefit, in as much as it's located on the plateau. Even other states, citizens of other states benefit from the project. So mostly, I think, from Honorable Tim from Birkin Ladi, he highlighted the fact that we need more funds to construct more roads. Just like I said, on our database, we had about 2,506 kilometers. We had to prioritize it down to 331. It doesn't mean that those others left don't need intervention. And it doesn't mean we only captured within the time frame we had. It doesn't mean that we don't have more roads than this number of kilometers I'm talking about. More funds are needed. Fortunately for us, His Excellency has keyed into what is called the RAAMP scale up. Is sort of additional funds for the RAAMP project to be able to intervene more. There are certain criteria that we are supposed to meet, and His Excellency has graciously committed to most of the criteria. So, God's willing, we would have more funds to construct more roads, but it won't be able to cater for all the rural roads. And so it's a good point that he noted that, for example, for the Rural Access Road Agency, continuous funding of that agency will help us improve more roads within our rural communities.
Right, and I think it was Chris Daniel Tat that after, of course, lauding the government for strides in, improving and providing opportunities for agri-biz initiatives, he also spoke about the fact that education and awareness should precede the efforts that are being made so that people would be, both uplifted in knowledge and in their statuses. So is there anything that has been done to better get the rural populace especially on the same page with, government and its thrust in everything it wants to do in agriculture, the wonderful, laudable initiatives that it has for Plateau citizens in agriculture?
Yes. So for us, we carry out sensitization regularly to the beneficiaries of our project. And so even during our sensitization, we always point out to the need for our people to take ownership of these interventions. And so regular sensitization, we carry it out, and it's always an ongoing process. It never ends till the project ends. We keep on sensitizing citizens that they need to take ownership of this project. And if anybody is going contrary to the desires of Plateau State in terms of carrying out acts that will destroy the road, it's good for citizens to point that out. If possible, call relevant authorities to make sure that these roads last as it's.
I would like to ask at this point in time that you give us a take home, a message for farmers and rural communities across Plateau State. How would you want their attitude to be towards, the programs that you have outlined, and of course the goals that you've set that are supposed to better their lives? How would you want them to approach your programs?
Yes. So, like I said, in each of the intervening communities, we have the grievance redress committees. There are committees that are set up within the communities. Any opinion that a citizen has, or if there's any complaint at all, you can always reach out to those, and from there we can as well try to address whatever concerns that people have. And so and also if there are things, we have eyes on the ground, which are our supervising consultant, and if there's anything that you see that is being done out of the normal, our doors are always open to address any concerns of our citizens and beneficiaries of the project. And I encourage Plateau citizens to always imbibe that culture of taking ownership of government interventions, so that they don't just come and within time they deteriorate. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Daniel Tensen, for sharing your time and insights with us on Good Morning Plateau. And to our listener and callers, we appreciate you for being a part of the conversation, because development works best when the people are informed and involved. Now, Good Morning Plateau is brought to you by the dedicated team at Peace 90.5 FM, Jos, made up of the executive producer Rita Kachulumpam, supervising producers Hudung Gyang and Esther Nasara, our producers here in the studio Inga Samuel and Titus Datas, our engineer Thomas Wrangler, studio manager Andat Ayuba and Samaela Maku. We had ICT students supporting us in person of Praise God Barefoot and John Paul Polo, and newsroom sent in Deborah John to cover this for the news. Duty continuity announcer Plangred Mark Dabang made sure that communication was smooth between the studio and you. Now, when a farmer can move produce easily from the field to the market, a whole chain of prosperity begins. Food becomes more affordable, incomes grow, businesses expand, and communities generally thrive. Roads are not just paths of movement, they are pathways to opportunity, dignity, and development. As Plateau continues to unlock its agricultural potential, the true harvest will not just be in crops, but in better livelihoods for our people. And I am Munkawe London Wadak, and this has been Good Morning Plateau on Peace 90.5 FM Jos. Have a productive day and keep building Plateau one good decision at a time. Goodbye.
The land is green and the time is now.
Caring, loving people from the southern zone of Plateau.
Northern, South, Shandam, Mikan, Wasedi, and
The land is green, Plateau.
I am a Plateau, a beautiful Plateau, evergreen Plateau, PRT. Plateau the beautiful. I am a Plateau, a beautiful Plateau, evergreen Plateau, PRT.